In fact, we will not continue. I'm going to remove all of this, and I am going to generate a new boilerplate, and it's not giving me suggestions. Okay, so today's topic is called DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. Okay, we have discussed about objects yesterday. Okay, and today we are going to see how basically we can manipulate the HTML and CSS on our website. Okay, so we are going to start easy, and what are we going to do is, wait, let me make it go live, and yes, we have it here. And we'll start it simple. I'm going to have an h1, and I'm going to give it a class, and I'll say it's heading, let's say, and it's going to say salam world, and then I'm going to have a button, and this button is going to have an ID. I'll tell you why we are using IDs in classes, and I'm going to call it btn, and this would say change title. So why can't I see it? Because I haven't saved it. Okay, so can you guys guess what we want to do? Like, what do we want to do with this? What should we do with this? Can you guys hear
जब
me?
बटन क्लिक करें तो हेडिंग चेंज हो
Exactly.
जाए.
If you were to click on this button, this title should change. Okay, so basically what we are doing is we are manipulating, we are changing the DOM. What is DOM? DOM stands for Document Object Model. So basically this is HTML. We want to do what? We want to change our HTML. So DOM is basically changing your HTML and CSS using JavaScript, and this is exactly what we want to do with this. Okay, so do you guys get the concept of DOM? DOM basically means changing HTML and CSS using JavaScript. Do you guys get the concept?
Yes.
Okay, great. So how do we start a JavaScript? Basically this thing is achieved only with JavaScript. Like when we click on this, we want to change this. So how do we start a JavaScript, and where do we start a JavaScript?
We use the tag script
Yeah, exactly. And where do we use that?
in the body.
In the body, yes. Exactly where?
At the end, on top
Yeah,
of the
at
body.
the end. So you mean right here?
No on top.
Yeah, exactly, inside the body, but before the closing tag. So I'm gonna have the script tag, and okay, so I'm gonna explain a few things, and these things are really important. Okay, and the first thing is, whenever you want to do DOM, that is whenever you want to change HTML and CSS using JavaScript, what you do is you have to ask yourself this question, and that question is, on which elements do you want to work on? Okay, this is the first question you need to ask yourself as a developer. And when you're doing DOM manipulation, that is document object model, that is when you are changing HTML and CSS using JavaScript. So the first question is, on which elements do you want to work on? So ask yourself this question and tell me the answer. On which elements do we want to work on? Like when we click on this button, I want this title to change. So on which elements are we working on? Which elements are we working on? I'm gonna repeat again what I want to do. When I click on this button, I want to change this title. So which elements am I working on?
We're working in H1.
Yeah, good. We're working with H1. Like we want to change this. And is it just H1 or is there something else as well?
Button.
Like when I click on this button, then we want to change this. So we are working with this H1 plus we're working with this button as well, because we want to click on this button if we want to change this title. So we are working with both of these elements. So the first thing, the question is answered, that is we are working on this. Okay, The first question was is answered, that is we are working on these elements, we want to work on these elements. So the second part is, now we have to get these elements from HTML into JavaScript. Like at the moment these elements, that is h1 and button, are present in the body, okay, like in HTML. We want to get them outside of HTML, like we want to get them outside of HTML and then inside the JavaScript, because we want to do the functionality on it. Okay, this is the second step. I'm going to write it here as well. The first step is what do you want to work on, okay, or which I should say which elements do you want to work on. This question is answered. The second step is get the elements from HTML to JavaScript. Okay, are these two steps clear? Okay, great. Let me write it second step here as well, so it gets easy. Okay, now we are going to implement the second step, because first step is almost already implemented. That is, you already said that we have to work on h1 and this button. So let us get this button and h1 from HTML to JavaScript. So I'm going to take a variable that is going to hold the elements inside the JavaScript. So how do we take variables? How do we declare variables? Yeah, exactly, let const or var, but we don't use var, so I'm going to use let, and I'm going to say, let's say I'll call it my heading. And one important thing is, variables do not have spaces, okay, you cannot put space here, else it's going to give you an error. Okay, if you want to have space, you can put underscores, only underscores are allowed, you cannot put dashes. Okay, so I'm going to say my heading. Okay, so the question is, where is my heading present? Like in which language is my heading present? Yeah, it's in h1. And where is h1 located? Like in which language? Is it in CSS? Is it in JavaScript, or is it in HTML? Exactly, it's in HTML, but we want to get it from HTML into JavaScript. So basically what we want to do in this line is, we want to go back to HTML from JavaScript. We are currently inside the script tag, and script is JavaScript. So we want to move from JavaScript to HTML. And how do we do that? Basically JavaScript refers to HTML as document. Whenever you call document variable in your JavaScript, you get all of the HTML. Let me tell you how. Let's say I'm going to comment it out for the moment, and I'm going to say console.log and then document. You can see we have all of the HTML inside this document variable. Okay, can you see? Like we get all of the HTML with just document. Do you guys get it? Like whenever you want to refer HTML in JavaScript, you call document variable. That is built in. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So I'm going to uncomment it. Okay. So I'm going to say my heading is equal to document, and then after getting inside the HTML, I want to get this heading. So how do I do that? What does DOM stands for? I've basically explained it at the start of the lecture. Yeah,
Document object model.
exactly, document object model. So basically this document is an object, and how do we access the objects? We have studied about this yesterday. How do we access the objects? Like with which operator?
Dot.
Exactly, dot. So I'm going to say document dot dot. And these method you're seeing, these are all relevant to the document. Like we can perform all of these things, okay, but you don't have to again memorize them. We have a lot of projects that are going to do it for us. Okay, I'm saying go to the document, and then dot basically refers to get inside the document and get me something. So what I want to do is I want to get this. So how do I get anything that has a class on it? So how do I do that? I'm going to say document dot get element by class name. It's a built-in function and it has to be in camel casing. Okay, again you don't have to memorize it. If you were to just do dot and then write get, it's going to show you all of the methods that start with get. Okay, we want to do what? We want to get an element by its class name. Okay, it's a what? It's a function, so I'm going to put parenthesis. And then inside this function, this takes a parameter from you, and that parameter is what? It's a, what is it? What does it say? Class name, and it should be a, what does this say? Yeah, it should be a string. And how do I write string? How do I write string? Quotations. Good. Quotations. And then what is the name of the class that I want to get? What is the heading? So I'm going to say heading. So save it. I'm going to console log it, and let's see what do we have. I'm going to say console.log my heading. So perfect. We have a what? We have what? We have an, what is this? What are these brackets for? Again, we have studied this yesterday. Array. Good. So basically this class name gets you elements in an array, but we just want to have this first index. We just want to have this. So what should we do? I'm going to put array brackets and then the 0. That would mean, because we can have multiple classes with the name of heading. Okay, we can have multiple classes that can have the name of heading. So that's why it basically takes this index from you, like which class do you want to have. For example, if you were to have, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 elements with the same class, now it's going to do what? It's going to get me all of those 5 classes. Exactly, yes, exactly like that. Okay, for example, wait, let me give it class 2 3 4 5. So if I were to do get elements by class name method and then put the name of the class I want to get, now all of these 5 elements have the same classes. So this method is going to do what? It's going to take all of those 5 classes and give me the output. But what if I want to have this one, this Salam World 5? What should I do? Yeah, I'm going to put square brackets, and inside the square brackets, what do I do? Index to start from 0. So this one would be 4. Good. So it's going to get me the 4th one. If I were to open it, wait, it's going to show me Salam World and 5. But can you see the problem here? Let's say if I were to have 100 headings and I want to access some specific heading, like how would I count all of those headings? Like which number that basically that specific heading comes on? So this method is not efficient, so we don't use this method. Okay, this get elements by class name, we don't use it because it's not efficient. Then let me remove all of this, but you should know about this. Okay, we are not going to use this one, but you should know about this. They're like, how do we get elements by class name? So I'm going to say 0, that is get me the 0th element. Now on the other hand, we have this ID, and we have discussed something about IDs and classes in the beginning of our course. Do you guys remember what's the difference between IDs and classes? Can you guys tell me the difference between IDs and classes? Yeah, exactly. ID was unique and classes were not. Exactly. So that's why when you use id, you don't have to specify an array index. Why is that? Because HTML and JavaScript knows that there's only one id. There can only be one id with a specific name. Okay, so you don't have to put these array brackets. So let me get the id. I'm going to say let my btn or whatever you want to name it. And then how do I get it from HTML into JavaScript? How do I do that? Document, good. Document, and then this time it's id. So it's almost like similar to the above method. So I'm going to say dot get element by and then id, exactly, good. And inside the parentheses the function again, quotation marks, and which id do I want to get? The button, exactly. So I'm going to say pdn, and let me console log it to check if it's successfully fetched or not. So it's successfully fetched, but again there's a problem here, and the problem is like we cannot have the same id again and again. So this would again pose a problem. So that's why we are not going to use this method as well. We are not going to use this method, nor are we going to use this method. So we have a special method and an easy way to get the elements. And what is that easy way? Let me comment this out. And this is what we are going to use in all of our JavaScript and all of the projects. Okay, so I'm going to say let let's say head this. I'm going to say head. Okay, so you don't get confused with the namings. I'm going to say let's say head. And how do I get anything from HTML? How do I get any? Yeah, good. Document, and then the method we are going to use now is called query selector, and this needs to be in camel casing. And what is camel casing? The first word of the first letter is going to be small, the second letter of the second word is going to be capital, and so on. So the method we are using is query selector. This is the function. Okay, and again it's going to take a string. Now it can select anything. It can select IDs, it can select classes, it can select elements, like it can select anything you have in HTML, but you have to specify what do you want to select. So we want to store this h1 inside this head variable. So what is the name of h1? What is the name of h1? Sorry?
Heading.
Heading, exactly. Is heading a class or an ID?
Class.
Class. So how do we target the class? We're going to use dot, and then I'm going to say heading. So that's it. This method is more efficient than all of these methods. Okay, so this is what we want to use. So let us confirm that whether the head is successfully fetched or not. So I'm going to say console.log head, and this console.log is just for checking whether everything is working or not. So yes,
So could we write like when we did the query selector, could we write H1 instead of heading?
exactly, good. You can do that. Like you can do this, but it's gonna pose a problem, and that is we would have a lot of h1s maybe in our HTML. Okay, so that would again pose a problem, but you can do that. If I were to save it and see, you would again see the same thing. Okay, but you don't now have to put dot here. Why is that? Why shouldn't you put dot?
Because it's an element.
Exactly, good, because it's an element, not a class. So you put dot only with the class. So you can do h1, you can do p, whatever you want, but again the convention is you have to target specific classes. So it's going to get you the first class. Okay, the first class, and you would see, yes, perfect. Now I want to get the button with the same method. So I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to say let's say I'm going to say change btn. Okay, I'm going to name it change btn this time, or let's do it with camel casing. Again, this can be anything. The variable you want to make could be anything. So how do I get the button? How do I get it? Document, good, and then dot query selector, good, and then
Parentheses
parentheses, and then it takes a string for me. So quotation marks, and then this time I want to select ID now. So how do I target the IDs? Like for the classes we use dot, for the IDs we use
hash.
hash. Good. So I'm going to put hash and then the name of the ID. So let us confirm whether the button has been fetched or not. So console.log. What do I console log?
Change
Yeah, good.
btn.
Change btn. Save, because we have put the name of the variable as change btn. So yes, perfect. We have a button as well. So now the first step is done. We have successfully fetched the things, the elements we want to work on. Okay, now we have another concept, and a really important concept, and a concept that is going to be with you for like all of your development phases. Okay, so the concept is events. So what is an event? In website, event refers to anything that is being changed, that is happening on your website is called an event. For example, if I were to click on this button, I am doing something, like something is happening on my website. So basically this thing being happened is called an event. If I were to resize my website, what am I doing? I am performing an event. Whenever something is changed on your website, it's called what? What is it called?
Event.
Event. Good. So basically if I were to move my mouse like this, I am doing what? I am performing an event. If I were to, let's say, drag and drop, again what am I doing? I am performing an event. In fact, have you seen websites where you just drag and drop your files? Have you seen that website?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what is happening on those websites? Basically they are performing an event of drag and drop. Okay. Okay, tell me this. What event are we performing here? What event am I performing here?
I mean, you're clicking the
Click.
button.
Exactly. Good. We are performing an click event. So I am now going to handle this click event. Okay, we are now going to handle this click event. Like, what do we want to do when the button is clicked? We want to change this title only when the button is clicked. So we have the topic of events and event listeners. Okay, this is our topic. So what we are going to do is, okay, this is the important point, please listen carefully. When we perform an event, I want JavaScript to listen to that event, and when JavaScript listens to that event, I'm gonna say do something when that event is being performed on a website. Okay, this is what we want to do. I'm gonna say to JavaScript that whenever the event of clicked is performed on this button, change my title, but only when this event is performed. Okay, so how can we do that? We can do that with event listeners. Do you guys get the concept of events?
Is
Yeah.
it like a
Okay.
command for like lists? If you're doing event lists,
Sorry,
like are you like commanding them to do some sort of function?
no, I'm not commanding to do something, a function, because this function can be performed by the user. I'm not commanding the user. What I'm doing is I'm just commanding JavaScript, like whenever there is a function like that, you have to do something. Okay, I'm not commanding, I'm just handling when that command is being implemented.
Okay.
Okay, like I'm saying when it is clicked, perform something. Okay, so events is something that is being changed on your website, like that is being something that is happening on your website. And what is event listeners? Handling those events is called event listeners. Okay, so okay, let's start with the event listeners and events. So on which element do I want to handle my event? Like this heading or this button?
Button.
Button. Good. So we want to handle an event on this button. We want to add an event listener on this button. Like whenever this button is clicked, I need to do something. So how can I do that? I'm gonna say change btn, because this is what we want to listen when an event is performed. So I'm gonna say change btn dot, and we are going to use a built-in function that is used to handle events, that is used to listen to events, and it's called add event listener. Okay, so basically we are attaching an event listener to the button. Like whenever the button is clicked, or whatever you want to handle, like mouse move, mouse over, mouse down, like we have a lot of events, like with literally a lot of events. Like whenever an event is performed on this button, do something. So this add event listener is a function. So what should I put after this? If it's a function, what do I do?
You have to write function.
Yeah, good. Parentheses. Okay, now this function takes two things from you. First thing is the type. Like what event are you listening for? Is it click? Is it mouse move? Is it drag and drop? Is it key press? Or what is it? What are we listening on this button? Which event are we listening on?
Click.
Click. Good. So the first parameter is the type of event in string, and I'm gonna say click. Okay, and the second parameter is the function. Like which functionality do you want to perform when the button is clicked? So how do I write the function? We did it with the for each yesterday. So I'm going to put comma for the second parameter, and then how do I write the function?
Parentheses.
Good, parentheses, and then
Parentheses again.
no, it's already in a function. Look, we have a parenthesis. Yeah, good, arrow inside this.
Or arrow outside of the parentheses.
Good, arrow, and then
The curly
curly
square.
brackets. Perfect.
Curly brackets.
This is the syntax for add event listener. Now this functionality, for example, for the time being, I'm going to say console.log, and then I'm going to say button click inside the strings. Okay, tell me when is this button click going to be console logged? This functionality is only going to be implemented when we click on this change BTN. There's nothing in the console log. Why is that? I did said here that console log me button click. So why can't I
So
see
it's
anything?
only gonna work
Because
when
you
you
have
click
to
the button?
click
Yeah,
the button.
good. So this functionality only works when I click on the button. So I'm going to click on this button. So the moment of truth, and can you see? If I were to click again,
Yeah.
it's performing the event. But again, it's not really fun. You know, it's still in the console. But I want to do it here. Let's do it. But first, I'm going to write this function, this all of this syntax again. So you take a good look, and you guys have to tell me how do I write it. Should I remove now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So on which element do we want to add event listener? Like which element do we want to add event listener to? Is it heading or is it button?
Change BTN.
Yeah, good, change BDN. So I'm going to say change BDN, and then we want to attach an event listener that listens to the event. So dot, good. What's the built-in function for listening events?
Add.
Good.
Add to.
Add event.
Add event listener.
Good. Add event listener, and it needs to be camel cased. Okay. Now add event listener is what?
It's a function.
Good. It's a function that is going to take how many parameters from us?
2.
2. Good. The first parameter is the
Event.
type of event. Yeah, the type of event. So we want to perform what type of event on it?
Click.
Click. So inside the quotation marks, I'm going to say click, and then the second parameter is what? The functionality you want to perform.
Function.
Good. So the function. Okay, this time we're gonna do something to this. Okay, what is this in our JavaScript? Like, what is this referred to in our JavaScript?
Head.
Head. So I'm gonna say head. And now what do we want to do with this head? We want to change the text of this head. Okay, we want to change the text. So I'm gonna say head dot, we have a built-in method again that is called inner HTML. Like whenever you want to get the text of the div, you use this method inner HTML. So this time it's gonna get me the text inside the head element, and head is what? The heading, and heading has which element, which text? Salam world. So I'm gonna say whenever I click on this button, change the inner HTML of head to be equal to, let's say it's saying salam, I'm gonna say wa alaikum salam and word. So whenever I click on this button, it's going to change the head inner HTML to wa alaikum salam word. So let us click on this button. So I'm clicking. Any problem? Any questions? Not problem. I know we would have a lot of problems at the moment, but any questions? Here's the code. Here's the output. Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, we want to do the same thing. So I'm going to remove this. Let's do it again. So which element do we want to attach the event listeners on? The change BDN. So I'm going to say change BDN dot, and then what is the function for you listening to events? Good. Add event listener. It's a function that is going to take two parameters from us. The first parameter is the type of event, that is click in this case. Good. And then the second parameter is the function. And what do we want to do when we click on this? We want to change the head text. So I'm gonna say head, and how do I get the text of this div? What was the function? Dot. It was called inner HTML. It's gonna get me the text that is inside the head. So what do we want to do with this text? We want to change it to, let's say, instead of salam word, it's gonna say wow, and then it's working, and I'm gonna put emoji as well. Okay, I'm clicking. Okay, but now I want to do something, and that something is, if the title is saying salam world, it should say hello it's working. Oh no, sorry, it should say wow it's working. But if it says wow it's working, if I click on it again, it should now say salam world. Like it should be toggling between these two words. If it's salam world, it should say wow it's working, and if it's saying wow it's working, then if I click on this button, it should say salam world. So how do I achieve it? Let me give you what I want to do with this. Let me visualize it. Okay, if it's saying salam world, clicking on it would make it wow it's working. Okay, but if it says wow it's working, it should go back to salam world. Okay, and this is going to be achieved only when we click on it. Okay, so how can I do that? Think, because we have already studied all of this when we were studying JavaScript. Just give me an algorithm and I can just code it, and you can do it as homework. Just give me an algorithm. Sorry? There was an answer. What was the answer? Good. We have to use if conditions, because we are saying if it's this, the left side, do it the right side, and if it's the right side, do it the left side. So we're going to put conditions. So I'm going to say if head dot inner HTML is double equals to, because this time we are comparing, we are not assigning, we are comparing. If it's equal to, but it should be exactly like this. Okay, if it's equal to salam world, it should say, what should it say? The head dot inner HTML should say wow, it's working. But if it's not equal to salam world, what should we put here? We have already put if. What should we do now? Else. Good. If it's not salam world, it should say salam world. Okay, how is this working? We are saying when I click on this button, check what's the inner HTML of this head is. If it's equals to salam world, change that to wow it's working. But if it's not equal to salam world, then change that to salam world. Let me do it here. So every time I click, it toggles between these. Any questions? Okay, great. Now let's make it more interesting. Now I want to change the colors as it is changing the title. I want to change the colors as well. So currently we have just manipulated the HTML. Now what are we doing? We are going to manipulate CSS. How can we do that? Okay, if it's saying wow it's working, it should have a green color. So what are we doing? We are changing the CSS, and it's really easy, to be honest. Okay, so let's say I want to change the CSS of this head. Okay, so how do I do that? I'm gonna say if it's saying wow it's working, it should get the head. And this time, how do we target CSS? Which tag we use? Which tag do we use to target CSS? Good. So I'm going to say head dot style dot, and what do we want to change? Like I wanted to have green color. So which property are we changing? The color. Good. So color to be in quotation marks green, and otherwise I'm going to change it to, let's say, blue. So how do we do that? You have to just copy it from above and tell me. Head dot style dot, yes, color is equals to quotations and then blue.
Blue.
Perfect. Now if I were to click on this, it should have a green color. Otherwise it's going to have blue color. Okay, any questions?
No.
I'm not going to burden you with this one, because this one I know it's interesting, but again it's kind of something new as well. So this is your homework, plus there's another homework, and it's again more interesting than this one. What you have to do is, you are going to create, you can take an image.
Sorry, just a quick question before
Yeah.
this. You want us to also change the color for homework?
Yeah, the colors as well, and plus this is another homework.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is really interesting. We'll have a bus here. Okay, you can take the image of the bus, but it should be a really pretty image. Okay, then we'll have two buttons. This one is the forward button, this one is the reverse button. When you click on this button, this bus moves forward, like it should smoothly move to forward. And when you click on this reverse button, this bus moves backwards. Okay,
Okay.
it's interesting, but again this is like, it's basically paving your way to big projects. Okay, so this is your homework plus this one as well. You have basically two homeworks. One is this bus that moves forwards and backwards when you click on this button. Okay, if you click on forward, it should move forward. If you click on this reverse, it should go back. And the second one is this title.
I'm
Yeah.
just confirming. Sorry, the bus is an image, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's an image. You can use.
Okay.
Wait, let me tell you how you can use really pretty images. So I'm gonna say, let's say bus image. Not these buses, okay. I'm gonna go on images. I'll get tools, color, and then transparent, and then you can use, wait, not transparent, and then size, and then icon. And wait, I need a bus that is facing right. So maybe, yeah, this bus. Maybe you can use this one. Okay, it's also PNG, so it's not gonna be changing your background. Okay, you can use this bus, like any bus that is facing the right way. Okay, So yeah, that's a homework. That's a really interesting homework. Plus, it has a lot of learning in it. So don't use AI at the moment. In fact, we are going to use AI. In fact, we are going to make all the pages with AI, but not yet. Okay. So yeah, any questions? You have a question? Do you guys have a question? Okay, great. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Inshallah, we'll have a meeting tomorrow. You can leave. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.